Hello, what's going on, guys? Hockey Guy 1 here. Welcome to my review of How to Train Your Dragon. So, How to Train Your Dragon is directed by Chris Sanders and Dean DuBois and stars Jay Baruchel, Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, and America Ferrera. So, the story is about Hiccup, who is this guy who doesn't, he's just, his father kind of thinks he's weak, but he goes out and he thinks he kills a night fairy, but ends up befriending that night fairy. And as he has to go out and he trained to the killing dragon as well, trying to befriend this dragon and go on adventures with him. So positives are voice acting like Jay Baruchel, Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, and America Ferrera for sure. So I think they all did a great job with their performance, and we're all just very great with it. All them artists always match the tone of their character, and it's a good job with the voice acting. And the background designs are very visually stunning, like the island is stunning. Just the water's very stunning. Like, it's visually stunning for sure. And like all the background designs look really great. Yeah. And it's an impressive job by DreamWorks. And Toothless's character design is just really cute, and it's really good character design, makes him look cute. And it did kind of somewhat design him after Stitch, and it kind of makes him cute. And John Powell's soundtrack is done very well, and it's very catchy. And there's a great soundtrack for this film, and it's one of the very few positives I have with it. And yeah, and honestly, that's it. And this is where I kind of feel that the movie is overrated a bit with all the negatives I have. Like the story is just very cliched and predictable throughout, and it's just executed poorly. Like, I don't really mind cliches as long as they're executed well, to the point where it's not really that predictable. But I don't feel like this is executed well. It's just full of many cliches to the point where it's just kind of boring to watch because of how predictable it is. And just like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen next. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen next. Like that kind of thing. So while you're watching it, it's just blatantly obvious when things are gonna happen, and it's just very cliched. Like Stoic, I do feel like is not a good father figure at all for this film, because he's just the cliched father figure. Like it's the overprotective father cliche thing, and it's not executed well at all. Like, it's just done very poorly here, and just makes everything that's gonna happen predictable. Like it's predictable that the fact that he's gonna end up accepting him in the end, because that's just how basically every single story of this kind of cliche happens. And at this point, I'm just kind of sick of the cliche because it's just not done very well in this film, and I feel like especially since it's from DreamWorks, they could have done much better with this. Hiccup as well is just nothing special. He's just kind of your generic protagonist in a kid's film. He just kind of befriends a character, and this kind of, and as well as his friendship with Toothless is very cliched. Like, I know I've probably said cliched many times by now, but I'm serious. It's just very cliched, and predictable how the outcome of that's gonna become. Like it kind of starts with some tragic event that, like, he's shot thinking he killed Toothless, and then comes up not really liking each other that much, and then the friendship just goes along. It's something. It's just basically it's similar to the development of how they do most DreamWorks does most of their friendships in their movies. I mean, it just kind of starts with they don't really like each other, and then throughout the movie they start liking each other. It doesn't really make any sense, and it's just predictable. And Toothless, while he's cute, he has no character. In all honesty, what is his character? He doesn't really have much of anything, to be honest. He just kind of supposed to be a friendship with Hiccup, but he doesn't really develop with Hiccup well at all. And like I said, the friendship feels forced and Toothless as a character, he just has none. I can't really say much else. He's just cute and that's about it. His character is just nothing. His friendship with Astrid's even kind of just pretty bad. Astrid as a character is just terrible. She's kind of like an asshole throughout this movie, and just her development with Hiccup is just non-existent and feels completely forced upon. And because the development is she just gets on a dragon and she's like, okay, I accept you, and that's just very lazy writing and a very predictable and very little character development to go through with him. And it's just a big problem with this film. It's character development, especially with Astrid. And the villain, the big dragon in the climax is just terrible. It's nothing absolutely special whatsoever. Just doesn't show up until the climax. Completely wasted. And just, honestly, just barely serves a purpose to the normal plot. I mean, it does, but just not very much. It just doesn't show up until the climax, which is just a huge flaw for it. It just makes the character completely terrible, and it's just nothing special. You can't really say much else. And the human character designs, especially on Hiccup, just looks awful. I just look at Hiccup's face, it doesn't look good at all. They didn't really do a very good job with character design for the humans in this film, especially when you look at Hiccup. It definitely seemed like this character design for the humans were very rushed, and they're more focused on Toothless because it doesn't look good at all. And the climax, well, it was kind of rushed and pretty boring and a predictable outcome. Like this entire movie, predictable. And it's just nothing special. It's just a whole bunch of Hiccup comes in with all the kids and a bunch of dragons and fights off the big dragon. It's a very underwhelming climax, to be honest, and it was just nothing really that special. So overall, for me, How to Train Your Dragon is just one of the most overrated movies I've ever seen, and it's a pretty bad film. And I'm going to give How to Train Your Dragon a 4 out of 10. That was my review of How to Train Your Dragon. If you like this movie, that is totally fine. I respect your opinion. And what are your thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon? Tell me in the comments below, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.